7th chapter of the book of Revelation, New Revised Standard Version. It reads this way. Then one of the elders addressed me, saying, "Who are these robed in white, and where have they come from?" I said to him, "Sir, you are the one who knows." Then he said to me, "These are they who have come out of the great ordeal. These are they who can testify that trouble don't last always." I have been in church only a few times when the message came from the book of Revelation. And in those few times, as soon as the preacher would say, "I want you to join me in the book of Revelation," a groan would come over the congregation. People would murmur stuff under their breath and be thinking, "Oh boy, we about to get rebuked. Here comes the fire and brimstone. Bishop is going to scare the hell out of us today." And that's a rational concern when Revelation has been weaponized as a form of behavior control. When the text has been taught in a way to make you fearful of God's wrath. Similar to how that lady got on that podcast a few weeks ago and was talking about she saw Biggie Smalls in hell. And Jesus told me these flames are 20,000 times hotter than the hottest flames on the earth. So of course, a message from Revelation would give you pause. But I stand today to preach a new revelation. A new revelation. I ain't even started preaching yet. I ain't got time for you, Dwayne. I ain't got time for you. It was just a few weeks ago on the Holy Smokes podcast that Dr. Angela Parker, that brilliant womanist New Testament scholar that was with us this morning, she taught us that the book of Revelation is best described as a revenge fantasy against the empire. It's written by John the Apostle while he was exiled on the island of Patmos. He was out there all by himself with nothing but his imagination and his dependence on God to show up for him and his people. Revelation is John's revenge fantasy against the empire. But unfortunately, we've been taught to see ourselves as the ones deserving God's wrath in Revelation. We've been programmed to believe this through years of being told repeatedly that our righteousness is a filthy rag. Our minds are wicked. Our hearts are deceitful. We deserve suffering. We deserve death. Shame and guilt. Shame and guilt. Shame and guilt. Shame and guilt. But I stand today to preach a new revelation. If you were taught to see yourself as the recipient of God's wrath in Revelation, I have good news for you. The antagonist in Revelation is the colonizer, not the colonized. The antagonist in Revelation is the oppressor, not the oppressed. The antagonist in Revelation is the empire, not the immigrant. The antagonist in Revelation is the government, not the ghetto. The antagonist in Revelation is the people with the rockets, not the people with the rocks. The antagonist in Revelation is the dictator and not the people of Washington, D.C. Revelation is John's revenge fantasy against the empire. And when you look at it through the lens of Myron Randall, you'll come to discover that they told us to fear the mark of the beast when they were the beast giving us the mark. And this is why I preach the Bible, because I changed my lens. I came to discover the diversity of thought in the Bible. I came to discover the diversity of interpretations. I came to discover how people have used the Bible to enslave and how people have used the Bible to liberate. I don't believe the Bible is the only sacred text, but the Bible is a text that I hold as sacred. I don't use the Bible as a metric for morality, but I use it as a reference to what people before me have believed about God. I preach the Bible because with all of its flaws and all of the areas where I disagree, when I go to it, I still find comfort when I'm grieving. I find clarity when I'm confused. I find confirmation when I'm unconvinced. I find wisdom when I'm unsure. I find direction when I'm disoriented. I find strength when I'm weak, because the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even mine enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though a host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident. For in the time of trouble, in the time of trouble, God shall hide me in God's pavilion. In the secret of God's tabernacle shall God hide me. God shall set me up on a rock, for I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage, and God shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. The Bible isn't the only sacred text, but it's a text that I hold as sacred. And when it comes to the book of Revelation, I believe it's time for us to see ourselves differently in this story. And that is why I stand today to preach a new revelation. This new revelation features three characteristics that I want to point out quickly. The first thing, you are so foolish. You are so foolish. This is good. First and foremost, this new revelation features inclusion. When we read Revelation, we see inclusion. Revelation chapter 7 is a critique of the exclusion and superiority that we see today in Christian faith traditions. In John's vision in Revelation 7:4, he says that he saw 144,000 people who were sealed. Jehovah's Witnesses have misused this text to exclude others from God's blessing. According to them, if you're not a practicing Jehovah's Witness, you won't make the 144,000 cut, which is concerning even for them, because it's 9 million Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide, not including the ones that's dead and gone. The math ain't mathing. The math ain't mathing. Somebody getting left out. John also says that he saw people from every tribe of the people of Israel, and he calls each tribe by name. Our friends, the Hebrew Israelites, have appropriated the identity of the 12 tribes of Israel to exclude others from God's blessing. They believe that black Americans, those of us whose lineage can be traced back to West Africa, are somehow the real Israelites in the Bible who originated from the opposite side of the great continent. But it's not just Jehovah's Witnesses, it's not just Hebrew Israelites. Fundamentalist Christians do the same thing. Fundamentalist Christians have used components of Revelation to exclude people with rapture theology, a theology that's only about 200 years old, which suggests that in the end times, only Christians will be raptured or caught up to meet him, to meet Jesus in the air. Too frequently, this book has been used as a justification for exclusion. Many of us in here today have found ourselves here because we've been excluded. Some of you have been excluded because of your identity, whether it's your sexuality, your gender identity, your disability, or your neurodivergence. Some of you have been excluded based on your identity. And then there are others of you who, much like me, have been excluded not because of your identity, but because of your curiosity. You ask too many questions. You don't accept illogical answers. You push back against indoctrination. You actually care that your theology doesn't harm people. Well, I stand today to preach a new revelation that features inclusion, because in verse 9, after John has taken notice of the exclusive group, the 144,000, the 12 tribes of Israel, he says, after this, I looked, and there was a great multitude that no one could count. Inclusion. From every nation. Inclusion. From all tribes. Inclusion. From all peoples. Inclusion. And all languages. Inclusion. And they were robed in white before God. What's the message here? All of these people that didn't fit the exclusive group were still counted by God. You may have been counted out, you may have been cut out, you may have been cast out, but God counts you in the number. You have heard them say that your identity disqualifies you, but I'll say unto you that you're included in the count. You have heard them say that your critical thinking is a rebellious spirit, but I say unto you that you've been included in the count. You have heard them say that your history should not be taught, but I say unto you that you have been included in the count, and I stand today to preach a new revelation. Not only does this new revelation feature inclusion, it also features celebration. As soon as the great multitude is acknowledged in the text, everyone goes into a praise break. It was like right after the choir and Q sang "Trouble Don't Last Always," and we just couldn't stop. That's what happened in the text. Praise breaks may not be what you would expect from the book of Revelation, but it's right there in the text. They worship for the next 3 verses. This ain't deep, it's direct. This ain't profound, it's practical. Make room to celebrate. It's too much hell going on in the world for us to not make room to celebrate. We are not here long enough to live unhappy, so make room to celebrate. It's good for your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health. Make room to celebrate. Celebrate that you woke up this morning. Celebrate that you didn't have to cuss anybody out today. Celebrate that you went a whole week without arguing with people in the comments on social media. Celebrate that 5 pounds that you lost. And if you on the, listen, don't you start. And if you on the other side of the spectrum, celebrate the 5 pounds that you gained. I ain't got time for y'all. I ain't got time for y'all. And if you can't think, of any other reason to celebrate. You ought to celebrate that you're included in the count. I see two reasons for celebration in this new revelation. The first reason is that you're included. That's reason enough to celebrate. I don't have to go about this journey alone because I'm included. I don't have to face these troubles in isolation because I'm included. Myron talked about it just a moment ago. 2 years ago, I stood in this same spot and I told TFC, you're gonna live to see it happen. Y'all remember that? I stood here 2 years ago and I said that. And at the time, we were on the verge of a great falling away from this ministry. We thought we might have to travel alone, and some people wondered what would become of TFC. But look at us today. That's reason to celebrate. That's why the songwriter said, I will bless the Lord at all times. God's praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble will hear thereof and be glad. Here comes the inclusion. Oh, magnify the Lord with me. Let us exalt God's name together. The great multitude is celebrating because they've been included. But lastly, they're celebrating because they survived. Yes, this new revelation, it features inclusion, it features celebration, and lastly, it features survival. After John witnessed the praise break in his vision, one of the elders in his vision asked him in verse 13, who are these, robed in white? And where have they come from? And John replied, sir, you're the one who knows. Why are you asking me? And the elder said to John, these are they who have come out. In other words, these are the ones who survived. Everyone that's here ought to be able to testify, I'm a survivor. That's why I celebrate, because I came out of it. I wish I had somebody in here who can testify. I had to survive some tests. I've had to survive some storms. I've had to survive some abusive relationships. I've had to survive some toxic friendships. I've had to survive some cultish communities. The elder said, these are they who have come out of the great ordeal. You might recognize that line better if you hear it in the King James Version for all the church kids like me, where he says you've come out of the great ordeal. But in the King James Version it says, these are they who have come out of the great tribulation. Because if you were raised in church, you know that sometimes you must go through trials. The elder said, these are people who have gone through hell and came out to celebrate their survival. And in my sanctified imagination, as I imagine with John what was happening in that scene, I can hear the great multitude singing, you don't know my story. All the things that I've been through. You can't feel my pain, what I had to go through to get here. You'll never understand my praise. Don't try to figure it out, because my worship is for real. These people have gone through hell and came out to celebrate their survival. That sounds like some people I know, and I'm out your way. As we stand in the face of a fascist government that is attacking immigrants, black people, disabled people, women, and Q+ people with reckless abandon, it may be good for us to reflect on what we have already survived. Can I call the roll? Transatlantic slave trade, separated from our culture, separated from our family, separated from our language. We survived that. sexual violence, buck breaking, slave patrols, no protection under the law. We survived all of that. Black codes, lynching, convict leasing, the KKK. We survived all of that. Jim Crow, white mobs, church bombings, our leaders assassinated. We survived all of that. Housing discrimination, job exclusion, political violence, COINTELPRO. We survived all of that. Poisoned water, the war on drugs, the HIV epidemic, Hurricane Katrina. We survived all of that. And to the ones who didn't make it, we say ashe and amen. We'll keep going in your honor, for the Bible says that we are encompassed about by a great cloud of witnesses, the ones who didn't make it, but they're still here. So to our great cloud of witnesses, thank you for being here with us. And with the help of the ancestors, with the help of Jesus, Yeshua, the brown Palestinian Jew, and with the help of Mother God and Father God and non-binary God, with the help of Oludamare, with the help of the angels and the Orishas, we'll keep on surviving. Christian nationalism, domestic terrorism, we will survive. Mass incarceration, police brutality, we will survive. Low wages, predatory student loans, we will survive. Violence towards immigrants, the MAGA regime, we will survive. Do you know how I know? You want to know how I know? Because in Revelation, the elder said, the one who is seated on the throne will shelter those who have come out. He said, they will hunger no more, neither shall they thirst anymore. The sun shall not strike them, nor any scorching heat, for God will lead them to springs of water, and God will wipe away every tear from their eye. You might have to cry some more, but God will wipe away every tear from your eyes. We have some rough days ahead. I'm not going to tell you no lie. We got some rough days ahead, but since we're here, come celebrate with me. That every day, something has tried to kill me and has failed. Come celebrate with me. That every day, something has tried to kill me and has failed. I stand today to preach a new revelation